Hi everyone, so today we're going to look at taking our box templates that we did a few days ago and taking them a bit further. So this is just a box I took out of my rubbish box and I've taken it apart so that I've got a template to work from. I don't have to worry about the measurements because I know if I follow this, they're going to make up into the exact size box. And I've got all the exact places to score and do everything. So I'm going to work out, it will work out better that way because when I've done it, I can switch my template round and get a second one out of that. So I line up as many straight edges as I can. And if you need help holding it in place while you're working, a couple of little clips there and it's not going to move. So I'm going to take a pen which has disappeared. Right, I'll have to hope that this shows up. So I'm now going to mark all the way around my template. This one is going to be different to the one we did before because we're going to put an acetate window in it. So because you've put these clips on, it doesn't matter how you swivel round your paper, it's always going to stay exactly as you want it. Okay, so I'm going to put a little mark there because I want a fold coming down there. I'm going to fold that down because I want a little cut there. Fold this one so I can go there. And make sure that you've got everything marked. Okay, so we can now take that off and I'm going to extend that mark in there and we're going to cut it out. I've used double-sided paper because I want it, because we're putting a window in it, I want it to be pretty on the inside as well as the outside. Snip down to there. I'm going to cut off that bit. Come back and do that bit there. Now, if I look at this here, I'm hoping that I can get that onto there. Not quite, but I can do a slightly smaller box with that. Right, so we're going to bring in our scoreboard. Doesn't really matter what measurement we use. I use black lines to line up the different panels, and then I can come down with that one. Two, The lines don't affect how your scoreboard works. It just makes it easier for doing diagonal lines and just lines that you want to do that don't have a particular measurement. So there we go. We need to turn it round, and I'm lining up this panel here and this bit here because I want a straight line that's coming down there. Turn it round, I can line up this straight line, and I want to line it up to this point here. Okay, so that gives me that. Now that basically is all my box done, so that I would recreate this one. Now I said we wanted to make it an aperture on the top with acetate in it. So I'm going to just fold that up. I want to look at making my aperture out of either this big panel or this one. I'm going to use this one because then my seam will be at the back. So I'm going to line up this, and I'm going to move a couple of lines on my scoreboard, and I can feel where that is, and I'm just doing a part-way line on there. I'm going to come in to there, and I'm doing a part line there. We'll extend these in a minute. Turn it round, line up that straight line. I'm coming in a couple and just feel for where the line is. Okay, I've gone too far on that one. I don't want to put my overhead light on because it will distract. There we go. So I've now got an embossed line all the way around. If I've gone over at all, I can just rub it back down. This one, I haven't gone far enough, so I'm going to put that back on there, and I just need to extend that line a fraction. There we go. That's all of those done. So now I'm going to take my craft knife, and first of all I want to look at the corners. So I'm going to do the corners by hand. Check where. And then I can always come back with my ruler. Because I've already done the corners, I can feel exactly where to stop cutting. When you cut down and it meets the line you've already cut, you can feel it completely give. Yep. That should now just pop out. You've got a few hairs left, just snip them off. Right, there is my aperture. And before I start folding this, because this has now made this quite flexible, I'm going to turn round and measure the size I've got here. So I've got 8.5 by 4.5. So I raid all of my boxes that have acetate and take out all the acetate. It tends to be a nice heavyweight acetate on boxes. And so long as you cut it down so that you've got no ragged edges or anything, it will store nicely in your drawers. Okay, so, yep, so I'm going to go 4.5. It doesn't show up on the video. It's not a lot we can do about that. So that should be enough for my window. I'm going to have the spot on the outside and the colour on the inside. So I'm going to place that on there, and I'm checking how much I've got to glue all the way around. So I'm going to have to use a very narrow tape. You can use wet glue if you've got time to let it dry. I'm going to be trying out a new spray adhesive later. That's just arrived in the post, and interested to see how it works. So there we go. Now I've gone all round the aperture. Okay, and I've got my piece of acetate. The important thing now I'm going to do is just to take off one piece of the tape. If I was to try and hover this down and it went in the wrong place, it would be awful to try and get it back. So I'm placing that on, let it go down and make sure it's right. The only bit that is fixed is there, but it does mean that I can now happily take these off . It's really strong adhesive, which is what we want. But if you go wrong, then it's so much more difficult to try and get it right again. So I've got that one fixed. I can just let it go down. I know it's in the right place. Now all we've got to do is to fold a little bit that's sticking over there. Better. So fold all these, fold on your edges, and if we bring the template back, we need a tiny little bit of mark there for our fold that's going to go inside. Okay, that one. Right. If I decide I really like this as a box, then I can laminate it and it's there for whenever I want to use it. Once again, the lines, the measurements don't matter because all your measuring has been done for you by somebody else. Let's fold those. Right, I now need to put double-sided tape down here. That will flap over to there. And I'm going to use a thicker red liner tape. get it as near to the scored line as you can, and then you've got no open flats. So I'm going to fold that to there. Like to rock it both ways, so you line it all up, and then we can pop in the ends, and we now have, it's going to just take a little bit off there so it fits a little bit easier. Right, it's this one. That one is bowed out a little bit. That's better. There we go. So there is my beautiful box. Exactly the same as this one. Let's put it back together again. I haven't had to do any measuring at all, apart from adding a little bit here. If you've got an oval die cut that will fit, then perhaps do an oval die cut or a rectangle die cut. But for those of you that haven't got the die cutting equipment, then this is a brilliant way that you can do the same thing. There we go. So a nice box suitable for probably 3 Ferrero Rocher, or some Lindor chocolates, or a gift like a bracelet, or anything that you want to give in a nice container. Okay, so have a look what's in your bin and rescue all your boxes and look at them in a different way. Have fun. God bless.